so much access to information, they don't try as hard because they can just watch it. In their mind, that's going to compensate for the hours of this swinging and getting your brain to connect to your physical body. Square up the right foot. There you go. One last thing, just for extra strength. Pinch the ball between your knees. Just a little. Good. Feel how the weight rotated to the insides of the feet? Guess what that's going to do. For the first couple of times, you'll feel it hold you still so you don't move. But that stability is, hopefully in time, will give you the freedom to be aggressive in terms of the dynamic motion that happens from here up. From here down, we want our feet like this so that we can move laterally, but we have support. If your feet are flat, you go right past the balance point, and that's when all the trouble happens. And they started doing this, which really made me geek out too, is the golf shoes in the last about 5-6 years, the soles inside are heavy on the outsides, so your feet naturally go like this. Byron Nelson swung barefoot for his first, I think it was 14 years he played golf, which is why his swing is so pure, because he learned how to feel the balance of his body's motion. Good, knees slightly, perfect turn. And I will be okay with that, and you will too, for about 3 or 4 swings, and then you'll get frustrated because you're a golfer. But when your mistakes are that straight, everything was correct other than the ground. The club didn't get underneath the ball correctly.
I always play that. That's what I've done since I was a kid.
Yep. Well, that's why it's bass backwards. Grab the club with your left hand first, but you set your right foot first. And turn the shoulder, keep it there.
Oh, fuck.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's called leverage, Doc. When your fulcrum is your left shoulder and it's right over the golf ball while you try to swing this club and all this arm motion through here, if that thing stays there, the fulcrum, that makes the maximum amount of speed right at that apex. Do that again. You're in good shape, you're young. Hey, somebody's got to say it.
How old are you?
48. And I got all the kids at work are 22, 21. And they just laugh.
You know how old I am?
You're probably, what, 39?
51.
Okay, I'm going to be your friend for a while. I'm going to follow you. You got a good lead. You're in great shape. Ball is... Feel good? Those heels. Attaboy. Do me a favor, lift your right heel. Keep it airborne through the whole swing. And finish like normal. Keep your knee in. That's it. And I'm sure that felt a little restrictive.
Not bad though.
But notice where he hit the golf ball.
Not bad though.
Notice the divot is well beyond the golf ball.
Yeah.
We geeked out back in, I want to say, right around 2000. We were looking at stats online. The only difference between the PGA Tour and all the mini tours and the college kids, this putt's made from 15 to 25 feet. Same ball speed, same striking. Stay. Good. Twist your hips. Shoulder fire. Don't be in a hurry to lift, Doc. That's the one battle I do face, because I do realize that out of the last 3 people to break 60 in the last 40 years, 2 of them had their head like this at impact. You know who they are? Annika Sorenstam, greatest woman golfer ever,
Right.
and David Duval, who shot his 59 on Sunday to win a tournament. But we don't, that's just, I can't do it. Henrik Stenson now does it. A lot of the Swedes have been trained the same way. They don't have any back issues, so there's probably something to it. Where'd you create your power? Feel it? Okay, real time. Get your. What do you hit 100 yards? 56? Or do you go with the gap wedge?
Probably gap.
Okay, get your gap wedge. 100 flag out there. I'm going to show you how to dial in the accuracy and let your athleticism dictate what happens. Go ahead and set. How do you set up for a 100-yard shot with your gap wedge?
I'm guessing a little further back.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay. Go parallel to your grooves. That's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches from your left heel and 4 inches from your right. Okay, step off for 1 second. Go on the other side to the teacher. Look at the difference. Right there, please. Look face on. Club, square. So if I take those grooves and lay that straight. Right? So again, steeper the angle of descent, more spin generation. Sand wedge, higher, lands on the green, softer. All good things for a golfer. Okay, you were here. Okay, yeah, we can do this and move our body over here so in terms of perception it is underneath me and a little bit behind my nose. But your nose is not always going to be where the power is. If I'm here, now I do that same motion and my nose is slightly ahead. So the apex is now, instead of there, is here. So that, therefore, I'm coming down still when I hit that golf ball. So all I have to think about is drive down. Stay still, don't get change in height, but stay here. I will always hit it. That's how you play the wind shot with anything other than a wedge, because it doesn't generate the spin. But a 7-iron, that's your 100, for me, it's my 100-yard shot out of trees. Exactly the same way I play a full swing, gap wedge, or sand wedge. Try to set up a little bit more. I want you to feel like the ball's where your right ear is, not your nose. Now your nose is here. Here. Ball's to your right ear. Good. So stay on the inside of that left foot. Do not transfer weight in your lower half. Out of a divot, out of the rough, that contact will stay pretty similar. Try it again. That was very, very solid. And I think a lot of it's maybe a little fear that people have that's going to hurt by hitting the ground that hard. But the bounce on your club's designed to...
I hit the ball so fucking often. No fear.
Good, stay there then. Because that shot goes halfway, you got another full shot. At least if you thin it, it's up by the green somewhere. You said your short game's decent, so let's show it. Left shoulder, bring your hips back in a little. Club one. Experiment. This is center. You're going like this, and then like that. Okay, stand square. Look here, typically when you're taking your posture, you're much more likely to bend nose over your belly button. Good. And then just take the left shoulder and the left hip and push them so that you feel the pressure on the inside of that left knee together. There. Stay put. Just turn the shoulder underneath and go. Solid, solid, solid. Very nice. Do it again. Here, just prove my point.
Sure.
by the way, I'm sorry. You are going to hit the ball further with your short irons than where you're supposed to play them. So, with your strength and your height, 56 is going to be the standard 100-yard shot, not the gap wedge. I'm assuming you got a 52.
I don't know what I've got. This is my gap is 52.
There you go, 52.
I've got some new ones coming. But
52. I play 120, 125 yards. But you flew that 110. So you've already increased it. No. Back up here. Up here. Push the club out as far as you can. As soon as you do that, your spine balances itself pretty vertically.
okay.
Let the head fall and let your nose fall. Then move the club head. Leave your body alone. Yes. Good. Get the knee in. Left knee. There you go. Stay there. What? But I'm not worried about that. If you hit the ball solid and ground second over and over and over as a golfer, you'll figure out how to adjust on the timing. But if I can't get your body in the right positions, you're just going to be kind of always vague.
So if I sit here,
Yes. So, is it or is it not? Does it make sense to you that if you do this up here in this routine, you have a secondary kind of a checkpoint. I have a 7-iron in my hand. If I go up here and I balance myself and I drop the club straight down, where should that club land? Right on the golf ball.
okay.
If I have a sand wedge and I drop it, do the exact same thing and I land on top of the golf ball, what's that mean?
Move it.
The ball position is incorrect.
It's too far forward.
So you have a double check. So this is a very common thing when we get to the driver. Is guys will go like this and they'll go, okay, I'll follow my routine. And then they'll look down and they'll go, okay, the ball's up there.
Right.
Now where's my shoulder line? 25 degrees left. Okay. The slice is already going to happen before you've even swung. Excellent. Let's just stay there for confirmation. Do you see? Parallel left. Good. That's where you should be. Parallel tracks never meet. Good. So what you're now experiencing is typically, yes, moving a ball back does make the approach a much steeper angle.
Which I'm not against.
What else does that mean in terms of the rotation part of the swing? Because this club is always rotating open and shut.
It's going to be slightly open at impact.
So what's the adjustment we make when a ball's further back in our stance? Do we allow ourselves to go around our body, or do we focus highly on going up?
Focus on going up.
Make that change, that subtle little change, and watch how it'll bring your ball right on target. You can't swing away like a 5-iron when you have a sand wedge. It's already at the back of the arc, so it's got to go up. Shoulder goes down. Close, young man.
So I,
Close.
very consciously went very upright with that swing.
On half. Do it on the other half too.
What does that mean?
So there's this half, and then okay, go up. Best way to describe it is if you were to take both of your sticks, put them side by side, hang your club, hover your club over the top of this for me. Good. In order to have your vision see the club stay on this green stick over here, which way does the club go relative to your toes? Let's start taking it back towards me. Doesn't it have to extend away from your toes?
Extend away. What's our frame of reference?
The toes, the distance. So the distance from the club to the toe is set. But as we go here, in order to keep it here, if we just rotate, the club goes here. So the distance is really close to my toes in terms of this way, that axis. But if you take it here and stay on that, feel how the club goes away. So if we come back and square up, and then we go past, To keep it on there, it has to go away from you again. Does that make sense?
And this is not something I would do with my other iron.
No, this is what you do with all golf clubs.
Okay.
What people don't realize is from your
So-
angle, when a golfer comes through impact, they do not go around here. We all go here. So that it gets out, and the shaft face stays at you, and then it rotates through, and then the elbows get to act naturally. That's why the old-fashioned golfers always finished with like this.
Right.
Because they were really honed into just that concept. But here's the problem. There's a reduction in power for the gain of accuracy.
Right.
And that's that battle that the top level golfers face. Where do I draw that line?
Yeah.
You know, what was that little guy's name? Corey Pavin.
Yeah.
Guy hit it 240 off the tee, 250 off the tee, and he beat guys like Tiger that were hitting it 300. But some courses demand accuracy. Hale Irwin was another one. Used to love watching his iron play. Freeze. Tailbone. There you go. Feel how it creates a little more space between your hands and your thighs. Step back behind it so you can look down the line and see how drastic that is.
What is that?
So that means you're pulling hard left. Remember what I told you? If you pull hard left with the shoulders, the club inversely rotates and stays open. Okay, so part of that drill now is to go ahead and set up in this nice green grass. Give me a divot that goes with the 100-yard marker. Whatever you got to do. Put your sticks down. Put some chunks of grass between 2 points. It doesn't matter. I need your body to see, where do I swing? Good. Good posture. What did you have to think about? You were way right this time. That's human nature, right? We go to the extreme other side from what you just did. So the average of the two, go ahead and do it again. So what are you doing when you're standing behind your golf shot looking at it? Just curious.
I'm looking at my ball in relation to my target.
Good.
And then I often pick a spot slightly in front of my ball that I can keep an eye on so that when I set up, that's my path.
Good. Now just like every other amateur golfer, you're halfway there.
Okay.
Okay. What does a third point do in terms of creating a line? I mean, yeah, you can get away with creating a line with 2 spots. But when you add a third, it makes it easier and even more precise.
Okay.
So instead of always looking at this, also pick a spot here so that when you can stand, you have a point here, here, and a center point that you can draw your line. Because then it also teaches you, where do I take the club back? Not just what's the through side, but the takeaway.
Gotcha.
And that's what, for me, I've noticed squares up guys' shoulders even better, is when they have that right dot. Yes. So just so you can see it, I'm here and here. Yeah. Right at the pole. With your divot, that's just better. That's a little right. Well, that's because I made a false statement. What's the rule of parallels? 2 lines that never meet. So if your ball flight line is at that 100-yard stick, where should your shoulder line be?
Somewhat left of that 100-yard stick.
I found it's about 3 yards left of every target. If I focus on setting my shoulders 3 yards left of the flag, or my target, that's where I'm going to hit it. Okay? So you were square to the flag, which means your divot should have been 3-4 yards right, which is where you were. Fair?
Fair.
Good. Make the adjustment. Okay, freeze. Yep, You're at that brown, looks like a telephone pole.
Yeah.
In the background. That's perfect. Yep. Keep the shoulder in. Close. Have you have your clubs adjusted at all?
No.
You're over 5'10". Typically means that the clubs have to be bent to be a little bit upright. Notice when you stand from back there like the catcher, look at this divot. What side's deeper?
Right.
Which means your club, in terms of the energy that's created, the shaft bends this way. Which means the toe goes down when we swing. So get used to, I've had to correct so many teachers. It's sad because people that are licensed teachers don't realize that. But I set up to a golf club and my toe is in the air like that. Only because of thousands of hours of hitting balls that I realized that the only way to get my club to land flat, sole out completely from heel to toe flat, was to start there. Because when I swing, that club bends this way and brings the toe down. But if I start square, the toe catches first. And what does that do? When we hit the earth?
Okay. I like that.
Let me ask you a quick question. Do you feel crowded? Because I'd like you to back up a half an inch with your toes. Now go ahead and let your head hang out in front. Nose in front of your toes. There you go. Good. Turn and let it swing past you. Another. Still a little right, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. It's okay. We're running low on balls. I'm going to run back up to the shop and get another.
Oh, I've got tokens.
You got more tokens?
Sure I do.
Good. So I want you to do that exact drill right there. But you sit there and work on terms of angle of approach. Yes. Yep. Until you can get it straight. Okay? If you would, lay a club down or a stick down for your toe line so you can repeat the exact setup. It almost feels like a chicken wing. Good. Heel. Yards over that 100-yard flag.
105.
Which means there's no effort and it's going far. Right? You're only using half your body essentially by this pretty much neutralizes the hip activity by lifting the right heel. The hip just stays still because you're more focused on staying balanced.
Yeah.
So the power is taken out of the lower half. Which if you watch most good wedge players, they don't use their hips much. Quite often they set closed with the hips. They're almost already rotated, so they don't even have to do anything really. The back half is fine. Close your hips up. There. Yep. Turn the upper half. Your hips soft. Further in there. Oh yeah.
Felt good.
Looks great.
On target.
I'm giggling out. Here, let's leave those good balls for when we get to the driver.
Yeah.
We didn't have this way. It seems like a lot of Josh's golf balls here are other people's balls they've practiced with. We used to host the Junior World Tournament, which is the largest junior tournament probably on the planet. We had 37 countries represented last year. And these kids, they come from something I just don't comprehend. They sit out there and they pull out their brand new Pro Vs and just hit them in the range because they don't have any more range balls and they can't find home. At $5 a ball, you're gonna just whack them into the range once and never get them? What is wrong with you? So those days I have to look at the kids and go, hey, I'll do a pick this time.
Right?
Really? You want to do a pick, coach? Yeah. You guys, here, you go watch the shop for me for a few minutes. I get a whole shag bag. Just laugh every year, every summer. Good. Rotation of the hips closed slightly. Left one forward, yep. Good enough. Right? I mean, it's just short, but it's right on the flag.
Yeah.
So the battle that you want to put your head into is this relationship of this line here, this line here. When the two of them are parallel, we have the maximum force and the most consistency of that line. So when we have displacement, we have issues. But we also gain power. So this is where the flexible comes in to be extra hand use. I can rotate my hips all the way to you, but still keep the back of my shoulder at the target, at impact. This is much more powerful than being here, just letting this go by. Right? So that's the battle you are going to have to face. And I want you to focus entirely on that footwork. And you're going to get yourself from being a 42 golfer to a 37 golfer like this. Only because you're going to be in the fairway more.
Yeah.
You're going to be right on the edges of the greens more. Penalties out the window. As long as you can putt and chip well, your score goes. Seems simple enough. And you go try to play golf. Yes. Yep. Power back, even with a slight deceleration into it. And don't finish. Not bad. Back here with this progress.
Yeah, that looks right of target.
Yep.
Just slightly right of target.
Yeah. Cool. Now we're at that brown pole out there. 100-yard shot. Now see if you can emulate that same idea with the heel up, but with your heel down. In terms of how much pressure is on that foot when the heel's down. I want it to be just as light. I want that hip to stay still and just twist. Okay? Kind of like that. Too rigid. Wait, please. See? So when I get you into this position with the hip slightly shut, okay, that doesn't mean stay there completely. But what that does is I want you to watch this line here. So when I sit here, see how my hip just went backwards? Like somebody pushed me right in that soft spot? Not this. This move in golf, what I call a teenage girl. What?
Sure.
That's the biggest error most guys suffer from. It messes with the whole timing because what does it do to your spine? it moves it laterally. And if
Right.
you do them out of sync, you get the whole this. When you get into this shot here, but you still have to let your hips be fluid enough to do this. Don't lock them in. Turn the hip. Back through. Okay, but that hip still needs to be, we're trying to reduce tension as opposed to create locking ever.
Right.
I find knockdown shots is the only time I ever really get rigid, because rigidity we found also decreases the amount of ball spin, which means the ball goes lower. But outside of that, let it be loose. I'm not supposed to tell you to relax, but that's essentially what we're looking for. Soft, relaxed muscles create more power. Still a little left of the target. There you go. Alright, try it again. You're more at this stage than the getting my toe line straight. How do your eyes see that? The tunnel.
Right over the white flag in front of him.
Yep. Yeah, it's still a tad. It's right in between the white flag and the 100 flag. But keep the club head traveling. Forget to worry about the golf ball secondary to keeping the club head between the sticks on both sides of the ball as long as possible. Even more. You do hit a golf ball far, Dak. You weren't kidding. Got great leverage and good flexibility. But how did that feel?
Oh, fun.
Did it feel like I took my arms like this?
No.
Okay,
No.
that's quite often the description I get.
No.
Good. Can you do much with your left hand in terms of just living? Can you draw left-handed? Can you brush your teeth left-handed? Hard to find your butt when you're wiping left-handed. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the worst part about golf.
It's
This
a
is why
left-handed sport.
only in one part. The
Mhm.
takeaway. I have figured out, because I am very dominant right side,
Right.
and being told everything about golf is the left side,
Mhm.
it didn't sink until I figured out how to look at it at a different angle. So, right hand, I lead with this, palm at the ground. Okay, if I ever get my palm to the target, I'm screwed, because the club goes from here to there, which jacks up all the timing and everything in the world. But in terms of the left hand, if I just take my right hand and make a C and grab right above my elbow, yes, and keep that angle and turn the club away. That's the perfect takeaway. The club is exactly where it's supposed to be. But the right hand wants to take the club right around your hip. Yes. From there, right hand takes over. Because the left side's done all it needs to do. Go ahead and try it. But see if you have the ability to keep that shoulder in while you swing the club. Just like most people. You got to right here, you're good, and then you went. Okay, keep the shoulder there. This is why the right hand is so important, because the right hand now has to take over. I've done all this work to make a good back turn. Now I stay here with the left side and keep it there. Take the right side and throw it back the other way. There's where the dominant side gets to take over. Okay? Just like walking. Left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. Not more complex than that. Back swing's left, right side is through. Throw the club. That's still the 52?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. That's
So
awesome.
that, I mean, I threw.
Yes. And did
With
it
what?
jack up your alignment?
Not particularly.
Not
It just felt really
free?
a little free, but a little out of control.
Because you haven't done it enough. There's the drill for the advanced. You stand there and have a teacher. Go ahead and set up. Hold the club with just your right hand. Okay, take your left hand, stick it straight out. Okay, and now rotate. Yeah, just practice swinging from there. No, just with this hand.
Oh.
You just keep this here. Yeah, good. Here we go. Swing it. Essentially, in a nutshell, that is what all we're trying to do. So the left shoulder is get it under my chin, and then keep it there. Take over with the hand I have control over, which means I can feel all of this, and just drive it through and past. If I can get that club head in my mind over there before I do this, okay? That's where the ideal golf swing comes in. In terms of the timing of when I hit the ball through impact zone and where my chest line is that is my steering column. Trust it. It feels a little loose, a little wild, until you hit 3 or 4 shots right next to the hole. Okay, no problem. So if my weight is on my back foot, is the club going to be square, open, or shut at impact? Just think about the terms
Probably
of it.
open, but that
Good.
was shut.
Now, because your body was back here, squareness happened here. So what happens post square point? Shuts down. By the time you get to the ball where it was, same reason why we can't play a ball too far forward in our stance for the club we're using. Because it increases that chance, which a lot of guys that slice move everything forward because whether they've known it or not, they figured out that if they move it forward, they can get the face shot.
Right.
So it's the timing. There's this rotation as well as this lateral move. Do it again. Knees closed, hip slightly shut. Good. Solid left side, I like it. Stay there. Turn on it. Now the ball went left, yeah? Don't even have to left.
Yeah.
Because you let your body shift right, and you were unable to get it back to that same pressure point on the instep of the left foot before you hit the ball. So that means your spine's average was slightly further back, which means by the time your club got to the ball, it was slightly shut this time.
So stay on your left foot now.
Mm-hmm.
Stay on your left side.
Or get there before you bring the club down. It's one or the other.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean.
I mean, Hideki gets away with that long old backswing because his first move once he's at the top is push the hip over on top of the left foot and then rotate. Yeah. Oh boy.
Right.
Uh-huh. Like I
And I'm
said,
not
your
swinging
trouble
hard.
is going to be figuring out how far to hit a ball now for a little while. Because you're now playing it in the right spot. You're driving it with leverage and power. Well, that I'm sorry for, but it looks good to me. Can you repeat? The name of golf, right? Did it once. Should be able to do it every time. No, still human. I knew it from the get-go. From the get-go, before you even swing, I'm like, he's gonna hit this thing fat.
And you knew that because?
You had your hands in your crotch.
Okay.
Okay. That is another, I mean, yeah, we've talked about foot position and weight position and the spine being there. And if we get to a point where it gets to be too much, please say so, because I do have that tendency. So I want to give everything to you. But you look like this. So what I'm looking at from your side is elbow to shoulder. Is it vertical or is it inside?
It's inside.
Okay? So what happens without our conscious mind being involved, the subconscious goes, oh crud, I'm going to run into my body all over the place. So it instinctually goes. Okay, so that guy you've seen that has the cast that comes over the top, nothing more than his bad ball position setup. Because if you give yourself room away from the ball, even erring on the too far away side, you'll never have that issue. You can still hit a golf ball. It's just hard to stay consistent. But it's far better than being too close where your elbow, what's this bone? Humerus? The humerus is not vertical, it's actually in. Your body recognizes it without your conscious mind knowing. That stupid little voice in the back of your head takes over. Somehow it has the keys to the car too. Oh, yeah, there you go. That's vertical shoulder to elbow. Now get comfortable in those feet. And then take one deep breath, clear your head of everything except for stay solid on my left side. Shift it away. Did you feel it?
Shifted away. Oh.
Which instantly moves the impact spot backwards as well. Start at the front, work your way backwards. My son woke up this morning. He hasn't stopped talking about it. I took him fishing after work yesterday, and he caught a whitefish.
Yeah.
Never seen one before.
No?
And that's all he could tell. He told my wife 3-4 times, Dad didn't. He's never seen this fish that I caught. I caught a fish that Dad's never caught. It was so fun. Better. Okay, now it's what we call a mind break. So you're gonna go ahead and hit this ball. And just try to picture this. I want you to be off your front foot and your back foot in the air before you hit it. See if you can just stay balanced. I don't care if you have to swing softer, but I want you to focus on the balance of that.
Trying to keep the same ideals in mind.
Correct. I want to clarify for your brain what it means exactly to be 99% of body weight balanced like a flamingo on my left foot when I'm swinging dynamically from the upper half. Feel how you had to force your chest forward after the contact? No, maybe not.
Well, I fell forward.
Which means you were back here before you hit the ball, and the momentum yanked you forward.
Understood.
Go ahead, close your eyes. Lead with this, not this. In terms of the transfer. Yes.
Ready?
Yeah. But that is the nuts and bolts of the golf swing. Get my spine slightly ahead of the ball before I hit it. Why do you think fairway bunkers, you see the pros, they go like this? Why? Because it limits their ability to move laterally. So that they can be precise in where that club hits the ground all the time. Same thing with divots. Ball in a divot. Ball in a fairway bunker, ball in a divot, ball in the rough. Those guys, pretty much the first thing in our heads is get wide so the lower body can't move me laterally, because that's going to play with where I come into contact with the ground. And when you're in not a perfect environment,
Right.
its value goes way up in terms of contact. That's more important than far. Try it again. That's what we like to call a thinking swing. Yeah. It happens. It happens. Okay, stay there. We're just going to do a backswing for me. Go ahead and go. Set it back down. Okay, again. How much easier it is on the back? Softer?
Sure.
Set it back down. So there's 2, I usually think left knee, left shoulder. Take the club away. Yes, while this stays strong, you should feel it really strong and tense right here. Yeah?
Sure.
Inside and on top of the thigh. That's your rubber bands being tight. If you straighten your leg, you lose all of that muscle power.
Straighten
That knee.
Oh.
So keep the knees slightly bent and they stay the same throughout the swing until we make finishing balance. Yes. So from here, your spine didn't move that way that time. Freeze. Set up one more time, sorry. You're letting your eyes dictate where your head is. Thank you. Good, right here. Now, shoulder under. Good. Don't worry about the direction.
I think I'm letting my eyes come back. I tried to keep my eyes forward on that one.
And then you went like this.
No, I
Oh.
tried not to do that.
Good. That's what you need to do.
Again, so I'm focusing on hitting a ball here instead of here, even though the ball is there. So swing is the
What did you look at before?
the ball.
What part?
The ball?
The
The ball part of the ball?
So, it's a little piece of the advanced golfer. You stare at the back dimples when you're hitting a driver or any other ball on a tee.
Okay.
Every other golf shot, you stare at the front of the golf ball.
Okay.
So this is the whole martial arts. If you look at the wall and hit the wall, you break your hand.
Right.
So what you were doing was correct, but just look at the front half and drive the club through the ball to that front half. Better. Too far out in front, just because of the way our eyes work, as we get further and further to the side of our vision, it curves. So you have to be careful by looking like that. Stay at the ball. That's why most pros, when you watch them look at 25 footers, they're not looking at it like this. They're looking at it like this. So it squares it up and takes everything from the slight curve at a certain extreme, it starts to bend and brings it all. That's why we triangulate binocular vision, right? Two angles make it so you can get the accurate distance. Good, just for memory's sake, take your right hand off, grab your left hip, left pocket. There you go. Take the club away with your right side, or your left side. Knee and shoulder. Good, stay there. Switch hands. Grab your right hip with that one. Good, swing the club back through. Keep your body still. Nope, you rotated. Swing it. Yes, do that fast. And then let your body follow it. Uh-huh. But that's the big timing difference that we're trying to create today out of you, Doc. Now we got your footwork doing much better, ball position much better. This is it. Stay there with that left shoulder and swing the club back underneath. Here's the old drill. Give me your left hand. Swing underneath this thing. And stretch. Don't bend your elbow. Reach.
Sorry.
Hand on the club. Stay on there. Stretch. Feel how it compresses the chest, which forces everything to go through. Not because you're pulling this to pull that side with it. You're compressing it, forcing the left side to move out of the way. Yes, and turn with it. Yes. This is part of your homework. Stand against the door frame. Just practice going. See how far my right shoulder goes under?
Mm-hmm.
This shoulder can't help it. It's going to go, but my hand stays where it is. So typically, what's the shoulder do? Look at the difference between this shoulder rotation and this shoulder position. What the shoulder do different?
Went up.
Which means this line here
Stays
just goes
square.
up as opposed to rotating. You have to wait for that. You want to hit iron straight. Actually, any golf club straight. It's just messing with that timing.
That was a nice swing.
That was.
Like, that felt easy.
So-
Like, if I could reproduce that, I get it.
Well, that is my goal too, for you to repeat that.
Yeah.
Because that was very, here's part A, here's part B. Okay, turn my left side, stay here, and then part B is swing aggressive. And he did it. Can you do it twice? And then next time it's, can I do it 3 times? God, I'm being my dad. Seriously, Dad, I just did it 5 times in a row. Yeah, well, let's see if you can do 6.
All right.
All right, fine. Okay. Back your feet up a little bit. Your arms will be there. Yes. Good miss. It's 2 grooves low, maybe 3. But the face was square, which means
Yeah.
shoulders are square. With 90% of the golf swing equation was spot on. Well done. That's 2 in a row, my friend. The only reason I was a little right is that's where you were aimed. You hit it right where your shoulder line said it should go, which means A+ on the effort. Starting position needs a little work, that's all. So we're gonna fix that a little bit here. You ever shoot guns?
Not well. Yeah. I mean, I hunt, but I wouldn't say I'm a particularly, sharpshooting marksman or
Well,
anything.
this is perfect though. That's not regardless of that. What do you look at? You look at your hands and the weapon while you're getting it ready, or are you looking at the target out there to get it set first, and then you look through the scope?
Target first.
So while you're looking at the ground, ball ain't gonna move. Try it again. I know. Did I confuse you? Step
Yes.
back. Step back. Over there. I want you to watch my face. Okay. We always used it because I had a lot of hunters in San Diego too, in East County, but nobody tries to scope their gun this way.
Right.
Okay, we all kind of face it. So in order to triangulate and get the depth that we need, same reason golfers start here. Okay, quite often they get their grip here as well, at least with their left hand, and you'll see them relax. Go like this. I've done it for so many years, the golf ball's pretty much there already. I said that, but I get here. So nobody wants to stand closed, meaning right of my body, right, my looking left, so it's across my body. It's much easier to shoot in front of you than it is across you. So I have yet to see a student set up to a golf ball like this with their eyes on the target, take their stance, get set, and ever be pointing right with their toe line to the target. So the instincts of the natural mind and body is to stay out of the way of what we're trying to achieve. Did I clarify a little bit?
So, if I were to lay a line along the breadth of my toes,
Sure.
it would probably be very open.
Which doesn't dictate where our golf ball goes.
Thank you.
What does?
Shoulders.
Correct. This is your steering column. I can stand like this, Doc. And if I turn my body like this, I'm going to hit it at you. Even though my toes are over there in the Yellowstone.
Right.
All that does is makes it easier or harder to rotate my hips. So if you have a tendency to open your hips too early, you're going to want to find a way to be as close to square as you can. For me, I went the other way and went more open so I couldn't fire them. And that seemed to work with me. But open your hips up wide. Nope. Yeah, that way. Keep your shoulders still. Now take a swing. See, how's it different feel? Feel your hips pull, and you're like, I can't even reach the golf ball anymore.
Yeah.
That's all those hips are for. How do I create a balancing act while I'm swinging this thing hard and aggressive?
So that was just to bring some body awareness. That's not
Correct.
That was
That
not,
is not
that was
what we're
ideal.
going to do. But I mean, mind you, if you watch me set up to that 100-yard flag and I got my 56 degree in my hand, my feet are close together and they're really wide open, so that I can just relax and just stay here. Okay, so for me, If I have them open, my mind goes, oh, I don't have to open them. They're already there.
Yeah.
So it relaxes me. Likewise, if I'm going to get into this position when I hit a driving shot, it makes me stay still because I'm overly shut. So I know I have to swing the club more aggressively to get everything to turn through. That's more self-discovery and more just hitting balls for hours to figure out which method gives me the optimum result. Golf's individual. That's why I love Golf Digest and the Golf Channel. I got more students because people watch that and come back all jacked up and confused because they speak in a very vague terms, very vague terms. So nobody's the same. So open toes, square hips. Yes. So, break it down for me. What'd you do? Start at the ground and work your way up. What failed? You moved laterally to the right in your takeaway, which instantly moves your impact the same amount back behind the ball. If you look at your divot, that's how far you moved right. See if this helps you too. Gets that. Try to feel pressure like I'm pushing my left shoulder down the line instead of up at the sky on the same line. There. Yep, you're fine until you lift it at the last second. Does that make sense though? All I had to do was this. Just a slight bit. Instead of going here and going. When you push the lower half, what's the upper half? Tilts backwards. So it's a little bit more of focusing on here. Because then my shoulders are already down low, it's easy to take it underneath me. Good process. Square the hips. Good. Lean into the left shoulder, down, not up. Good. So club goes straight up on the takeaway. Yes. Yes. That was a beautiful move. So the difference? Look at the difference in the divot. It's way up here versus way before because you played the ball pretty much through there. I'm excited because we have grass. This is how I learned how the effects of a swing work. If you ever watch a pro practice, they leave a rectangle of grass missing when they're done. You just use the lines to help see behind it. Right ear is now way back. No, that's it. There it is. Underneath. Thank you. Seems really tilted heavy on the left, doesn't it, for you? Because you start there, and then you do the little whatever your moves to relax, and you slowly go. All right, I'm good. And your right ear is almost on the outside of your right knee versus right in between my knees. Guess where that homework is? At home, no shirt on, in front of a mirror. The only way you can have no lies, no clothes to hide it, you can see where your body parts are. If you need to better it up, put a piece of electrical tape that's vertical on your mirror, so you can put it between your nose and your belly button. Bingo. Shoulder under. Yeah, that's a long gap wedge, my friend. Let's see us like let's get to some woods. Hit a couple 5-irons first, just to loosen yourself up for the transition, but let's get some tees out. I'm gonna make driving easy. Hopefully. Driving is the armsiest swing in the golf bag, otherwise known as the least amount of body work. Only game I've ever been witness to a priest swearing. playing with the priest down in Texas. And he must have yelled shit probably 4 or 5 times. Because you didn't hear that. Okay, sir. Whatever you say.
Whack fuck.
Why is golf called golf? All the good 4-letter words are already used up. Now remember what I said about a 5-iron. How far forward ahead of center should it be? Look at
An inch.
Look at your divot. It's right in the center of your body. And you played it up there previously. Make an adjustment. Insanity is doing that same thing over and over. You hit the ground, move it back. That's pretty close. Same thing though. Keep the pressure on the inside of the left foot. You were much better, successful on the lower half, but your upper body fell backwards behind you. So trade the average of the head and the tailbone, move backwards. Here, beautiful, and then now the club's coming in early. Focus on the left shoulder. And keep the pressure in the feet. Do not alleviate the pressure that you establish in your left foot at the setup. Even in the backswing, do not take it off. Shoulders will create the weight shift, not your feet. Yes. Thank you. I'm sure you got your own positive feedback by the shot.
Yeah, felt nice.
But that was the first one where you went. And the leverage was changed, the weight shift was changed because you just turned the upper body, not.
Gotcha. That felt great.
Yes.
Crushed that one.
Yes, you did. And what you're experiencing right now with the long iron, long iron, is how you approach a driver. It's longer, it takes more time, so you have to be patient with it. Don't let your dog run around in the driving range, ladies. Good, you just opened it a tad early. Real close. We can live with that stuff. That's in the bunker, not as opposed to into the trees. Get up and down. Especially this stinking little course. Every green's like a turtle's back. We didn't have that in San Diego. Everything was big and flat spots, and
yeah, it's pretty unforgiving.
You miss the center of the green, your ball rolls 20 yards left or right. My son just laughs. Hey, what's wrong with these greens? Nothing.
Like the back of a turtle. I like that.
Why aren't you hitting it in the middle? Oh, it's front end. Okay. Keep trying. Close. But you hooked it. Feel your body right now. Here, your stomach's out in front of your nose and your chest and your shoulders. Straighten up. Yes. So when you need to hit a draw, what do? Stay behind the ball. When I was playing the mini tours, I had this guy that taught a lot of Mexican PGA Tour guys. And he'd look at me and goes, you want to hit a hook? Practice staying about, keep your right foot on the ground until you hit it. You want to hit a fade? Get off your right foot before you hit the ball. It's not more complex than that. You sure, coach? It really isn't. If you hit a draw, you need to shift the upper trunk left. Not the hips, they're already over there. Hold them still. It's twisting in the barrel. Close. Lift your right foot up, and you won't be able to. Okay?
So my drill is lifted foot?
Well, just as a good check when you're done, because you finish like this. Right shoulder's behind the left shoulder. So if you lift your right foot, you'll go, oh, whoa.
I couldn't easily lift my right foot. Got it.
Yep. The pressure's in the left hip joint. So when we're at contact, it's vertical, and then we turn. Better. Feel yourself right there. Stay right there. Yeah. Now move your chest forward. Yeah. Now feel your right foot. Good. You will never hear me or any decent golf pro complain if you fall down the fairway. Gary Player made a living using his 150-pound body to hit it out there with Jack and Arnie by walking down the fairway, so he made sure every ounce of his force was going at the goal. hear me complain, but if you fall backwards, no, well, ooh, driver time, yes. Don't laugh. I'll give you a drill that's the exact opposite of the iron drill. That's cheating.
Now we can know what I hit.
I like it. That way you can see it. Is that like a chalk spray? Oh, it is. We used masking tape. Leaves an imprint. The golf ball dimples on your face. And then after you do too many, then of course it's in the grooves and you gotta go home and scrub it. Hot water. All right, let's see what you got, big guy. Now, lift your left foot off the ground. Yeah. Okay. Lift your left heel and keep it airborne. Okay. Let's just take an easy swing so you don't fall over and hurt yourself. Okay. Let's try that again. This time, let's achieve some balance without falling over. Yep. Shows exactly what you did. Stood up and backwards. Get set up, I want you to close your eyes and lift your left foot off the ground. Okay, feel how much weight you had to shift right? Stay there. You don't want your left foot to be as limp and soft. Knees close. Pinch them.
I feel like I'm really way back.
Pinch your knees though. Nope, towards each other. There you go. Stay still down low. Just swing through. Stupid, isn't it? But I didn't even use my legs. Yeah, you hit it 300 yards right down the middle. I'm sorry. Number one issue of a driver is this is way too active in 99% of us.
Okay.
Okay, that club is increased by 3 inches over every other iron in your bag. So the time it takes to go to the top and back is increased. So we have to cheat a little bit by putting our weight on the back foot. Knees pinched. Good. Soft left foot. And that is the ultimate testament that the timing and the body positions are correct because you instantly swang harder because you felt freer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the first few swings I felt like I wasn't swinging harder.
Right.
Now, well, not when I just said, well, let's fucking tag one.
I love it. I love it. That was a little baby draw. Right in the middle.
I'll take it.
265.
I can get it between the 250 and the 150. That'd be great.
It's just going to open your mind that I don't have to swing hard with my lower body with the driver.
What?
That's why I say it's the armsiest swing in the bag. Just set up, make a good shoulder turn, be aggressive.
Interesting.
This game's stupid. Why not?
Yeah, a little hard.
A little bit, yeah. Well, something happened about 2005. They moved the hot spots on all the drivers up.
Yeah.
You get better knuckling up at the top of your face than the sweet spot of what it was like when you had, well, I played high school with a persimmon driver. Until Tiger outdrove me by 40-something yards as a freshman. I was a junior, and I went, Dad, I need a metal wood.
Right.
Par 5s are going to be fun for you. Right?
Yeah.
Hear your breath, how relaxed you are, how easy you're breathing. That means you didn't have to work hard. The
Yeah.
ultimate proof
Put the screws to that one.
that was efficient and powerful. Still got worm guts in my thumb. I'm gonna find a fly rod
Hang back
and swing aggressive.
on that.
That's it. Okay, now what did you do different? What changed? Yes, you shifted your weight laterally to the left at the start of your downswing, which moved impact forward. Now, if a driver is on the way up when it hits, the club head hits the ball,
It's not going to come off the top of the club.
where's your spine supposed to be? Behind the ball. So if you hit a ball high,
That's
you have,
right in there.
yes, the logic is sinking in. Good. Yes, yes, yes. Now you're starting to acquire the tools that you can take and play with. If you top it, you must have shifted that way. If you hit it fat, you shift it this way. It's all about where you move the apex of that arc. You and your wife go out for food around here? If you do, where would you go?
Fresh?
Yeah, preferably. Pretty close. Still shifted a little left at the lower half.
I would go to the bistro.
Yeah, they raised the price an extra $20 since summer got here.
Oh,
Jerks.
we don't eat out much.
We don't either, but we're yesterday, but we always tend to do it on the Sunday of our anniversary. 18 years yesterday. We both worked.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing tonight. In front, please. So you can see this. Now you can hit a golf ball far. Without moving. Let's try that again. Sorry. That way. Yeah. Go early. So heel up so I don't use my hips.
Beautiful.
Without having to shift anywhere. That's what I'm looking for from you. Stop trying so hard. You doing okay on time?
Yeah, I should move in about 10.
Okay, part 2. I have a teenage boy, so he's probably still maybe starting to stir in his locker room of a bedroom. Can't wait till we get those. We got egress windows supposed to go in the next couple weeks for the kids' basement rooms, so they can get out. There's the fire.
Worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His room is like, I swear, it's like the locker room in high school. Yep.
Oh boy.
Feel how soft the lower half is? And if you stay back on the right, that slight, we're talking about half an inch. You move a half an inch more and that's square. If you want to hit a draw, you stay back there. Let yourself aimed on the right side. Stay on your right foot. Ball will turn. Want it a slice? Get off of your right heel before you hit the ball. You want? Try it. Feel the difference. Lift my heel, then the clay. Guaranteed almost every single time. So you now know you have the tools to break down. Well, I hit this shot and it went right. What must I have done? Shifted a little left too soon. If I hooked it, I must have stayed back on it too long. It's all timing.
So I came forward on that too soon.
And all he thought about was get it off my heel, but look how much my spine moves laterally just by lifting my heel off the ground. 2 inches. Yeah, I found a top flight. Was it a top flight 2?
3?
No, it was just a 2. That's what we played in high school when it came out. It was the hardest, longest ball out there in the market. We were hitting persimmon, and I actually stopped using it because I was afraid it was going to dent my wood.
Oh, hey, look at that. I'll take it.
I hope so. That's pure. Here comes a little baby fawn.
Scaring the animals.
Mm-hmm.
Shredded that too.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's shredded, absolutely. You hit it so pure, it's gone. Disintegrated.
Stay back.
Yes.
Stay back.
Let that club get by you before you turn.
Everybody stay back. And me. And watch what happens. Got that off the toe, but
Right? But it's not 35 yards right. It's just straight down the right tree line.
yay.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Very exciting. Knees. There you go. Don't go too far right. Just turn. Good. Yes. Not the shot, but the fact that you instantly recognize what you did wrong.
My belly's coming forward too fast.
Mhm.
Stay back.
Hey, think of this. Lead with my butt cheeks. If my butt cheeks are leading the way, I can't have turned yet. No, both knees, not one. There you go. Now you're centered between your feet. Just twist. See, you hit one good shot. Now you want to look before you hit the ball. It's like a teenager. Well, we are teenagers in our head, right? It's the rest of it that doesn't want to listen. I had a 22-year-old that was, he and I were the only two people in the department yesterday, and he came over and he's looking at me as I'm flossing my neck. What the hell are you doing? Don't worry about it. You're only 20, and you don't even need to think about it for another 20 years, man.
So I'm slicing these out.
Yep.
And you say I need to lead with my butt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Keep it there. The other thing is
Keep it where?
here. So once we get to the back, your next move is to go like this. Keep it there. Bring the club.
Throw that club through.
Yes.
Top connect.
Like I said, left side takes it away. From the top, it's all right arm. Right shoulder, right arm, right knee. What do they do? Right knee stays still, right shoulder and club go through. Oh, still open early. Remember me saying it feels almost like when you do it right, you feel like you're hitting it backwards. Which means your chest is still over there in your mind. But as long as you physically can keep your chest turned away from the target, the better off you'll be. You know when you overdo it, you'll hit a nice big hook.
Oh, holy cow.
Uh-huh. And when you don't, you have the absolute maximum leverage your physical body can do.
And that's in the trees.
Mm-hmm. That's in the junkyard. It's in the lumberyard, Danny.
Hit that one.
Yeah, I'd walk away after that. So just the way that I like to play around, nobody hits a 7-iron teed up like a driver.
Right?
So in my mind, because of the fact that it's that high, I have to do what with this ball position?
Let me think. You need to bring that ball position forward because you want the club head ascending before you strike.
Correct. So you play it up there.
Just like a driver.
And I pretend that I'm going to hit a shot right on the ground. Right here in the center, body's in the center, and through. I still catch it in the middle of the thing.
That was so nice.
But it's just, again, it's just play. Be free enough to play with that timing mechanism of moving the ball forward and back to my stance, shifting my weight laterally, harder or less, and find out and pay attention. Hit balls like this, straight back. So you have a line of, okay, divot started 2 inches before the line. I must have been either back here like this, with this like this, or my whole body was back here and like this. Neither one of them's cracked. Making sense?
Yes.
Got some tools to take home?
I do.
So write this down. Your homework is going to be this one. So take your left arm out in front of you, straighten it.
Take a step forward, you're on film.
Okay? So you put your hand on a door frame, but you rotate your palm away from you to the outside and put it against the door. Take a club at the bottom of the grip so it's nice and light, not hard on you. And just practice going like this with your right heel in the air. you can get used to this position, that's when you're going to strike more golf balls well, better than you have in a long time. Simple enough?
Yes.
Give it at least 2-3 weeks so you have time to practice and play so you can come back with data.
Okay.
You know, I'm not a every week or twice a week kind of guy. I want you to actually
Right.
have something for my time. Come back and say, I practiced this and this is what kept happening.
How much?
$50. And if this is cool with you, we can work on trades.
Sure.
I don't know what we'd pay. I just hand my card to the cute little ladies at the front. But I have an appointment with you on Thursday. Flossing is definitely helping the neck like it did my butt.